You're listening to Career Ready, and I'm Coach K. Getting you ready for your corporate career. Today we will close this week's series with the second most common reason for an employment gap for a graduate, particularly in our environment and culture, and that is, I've been caring for a sick relative. We know that often there isn't enough resources at home to get full-time care for our sick loved ones, and that usually it is those who are considered unemployed who are tasked with the job of taking care of the sick. So if you have ever needed to take time out to be a full-time caregiver for a loved one, here's what you need to know when entering the job market. Firstly, consider these 3 things when you interview. Number 1, you did nothing wrong. Please understand that the decision to take care of the loved one is admirable and also sometimes out of your control. Number 2, control the narrative. Your decision doesn't require too much explanation or reasoning from you. You control what information and how much of it you want to share in this regard. And number 3, they are human too. Your recruiter and interview panel are all human, and they will more times than none not only understand your decision, but quite possibly know someone who has had to do the same thing. Empathy goes a long way. Now, I want to discuss some scenarios that you might be faced with while you are looking after a sick relative. Some of these scenarios are sad, and I'll do my best to be sensitive when unpacking them, but we still need to get through them, okay? Please also bear in mind here that although I'm going to give you a recommended answer, that this still has to reflect you and your personality. So do change it up and use your own vocabulary, use your own history as well here to make the answer more of your own. So scenario 1 is that your relative made a recovery or they got better. And here's my recommended answer. Circumstances were not great at the time. My grandmother fell sick and I was the only one who could care for her full time. It was the best decision at the time for our family to be the one to stay at home and look after her. Thankfully, she is well now, so I'm eager to enter the job market. During that time, however, I kept my skills sharp by. And then you would list the ways that you actually did that. And the second scenario is that your relative passed away. And here's my recommended answer. I had to take time after graduating to care for my grandmother full time. Circumstances didn't allow for my family to hire dedicated support. Sadly, we lost her a few months ago. I still needed time to mourn her passing, but I'm ready now to enter the job market and be a contributing member of the workforce. I believe this job is perfect for me because... And then you would list all the reasons that you believe that you're perfect for this role. Remember here that alignment to the job spec and to the company values and mission is key. Now for how you can write this gap on your CV. I'm sure you're wondering why you need to even disclose it on your CV at this stage, and there are 2 reasons. 1, you want to dispel the notion that you're lazy or unemployable. And number 2, you will be asked how soon you can start working. And people get curious when you answer immediately. So disclose it and avoid any potential awkwardness. So you will treat this time as any other role on your CV with a job role title, a period, and a brief description of the role. And here are 2 options that you can use. Option 1 is the simplistic version, and it will read something like this. Full-time caregiver between July 2020 and March 2021. I was a full-time caregiver to my grandmother based in Ikageng. And option 2 is a more detailed version, and it might read something like this. Full-time caregiver, July 2020 to March 2021. As the full-time caregiver to my relative, I had to dedicate this time to fulfill this responsibility. During this time, I was responsible for their complete care, hygiene, nutrition, physical exercise and therapy, as well as ensuring that they never missed a checkup or medication as required. And do you see how that outlines all of the ways that you not only kept productive, but that you added value in the caring of your sick relative as well? I hope that the information provided in the sessions in this week has made this time somewhat a little less scary for you guys to actually deal with and address going forward. Until next time. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for joining. You can continue the conversation with me on LinkedIn by following my hashtag QM Career Coaching, or on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well at Hello Coach K, or if you prefer, you can send me an email at info@hellocoachk.com. See you next time.